I'm Bill Wake. We're here working at SortTables. It's a new, it's a data interface that I developed a couple of years ago. We've upgraded, and now I want to work on some user interface improvements, in particular showing all the tables. We had a more complicated scheme for getting to them. I think is kind of my first Swift UI exercise, and I'm not happy with the resulting user interface, and I'm not happy with what it took to do it. I don't know if I'm going to rework what's there, but maybe just kind of start a new piece of the interface and see how it goes. All right, and I should say, we don't have a session tomorrow. We won't have a session tomorrow. I should be back next week running on a different network. I don't know if that'll make any difference. And we'll see where it goes from there. All right, so we have this notion of tables. Let's run this. Okay, so you can see this section here, class person registration. Those are all tables in our database right now, and that's managed right here by this all tables view, which just goes through the tables and prints them. All right, so it just asks the database for that. I do think there's some funniness around database view model and metadata and all that. And I don't know how much to kind of repair as we go. See, we're saying database is a SqlMetadata, which seems a little funny to me. Let's go look at that. I mean, it has SQL metadata. That's fine. I mean, a database needs to know its messages. I don't know that that should be a string. I'm sorry, I don't know that it should be a function. It's probably just a property. So I'm kind of willing to improve stuff in place a little bit, but I do think this is not a particularly useful interface for us. What I'd like to do is get a list of things that have the table name and the columns that it's related to, and I want to be able to say, which of these is active or not. So I don't know, can I call this? Okay, first let's make this a var. All right, so var message of type string. That's going to require these to update themselves. Okay, there's null SQL, there's error. Now, yesterday, I haven't got the last episode uploaded yet. It was trying and it was very slow. I'm hoping all this work I'm doing here is going to fix that. But I mostly tried to rework the user interface to switch to the new observables model and or just try to convert it to structs like we did a little bit on Monday and just didn't get anywhere. So I don't think that's a particularly productive path. All right, let's see if that gets everybody. I think I'm missing one. Okay. Oh yeah, all the callers are going to be messed up. Yeah. We'll run tests and then we'll, whoops. I knew there was another one somewhere. Okay. 0.001 seconds seemed longer. All right, let's run. Okay, we got this. I guess what we did was we added a table. We get a warning. Okay. I think that's from there. All right, so let's push that. Some actual progress, however modest. Convert messages into a var rather than a func. All right. Now this, let's see who uses this. Okay, it's a few places, not much. I could see somewhat the same argument there, but let's look at what they're doing with it. Okay, so this is us, all tables view. This is if we don't have tables, we don't want to show things, so that check is used in the views. That's that. Okay. Here we are running through the tables and only taking the selected ones. Yeah, that selected name index thing. Okay, and then this one, apparently we ask for the tables at some point. Many tables view. Okay, for our picker, definition, basically looking at selection and then a test. Okay. All right, now, where did our metadata go? Okay, I guess I'm wondering if this is really a description of our database. I don't know. Something is just not right, though. So it says SQL metadata because it gives us tables and fields, which is metadata, and that's good. I don't know. I almost want to call this database or something, but there's more going on in the database. And the other thing is, I'd like my metadata to be a different thing. Now, I don't know. Let's see what testing we're doing on metadata. I guess that's SQL. Let me alphabetize these. Well, nothing on SQL metadata per se. Okay, we check the null database, we check the error database. Oh, which we kind of don't need now. Although maybe that can wait. Valid database and find the tables. Okay, can get the columns. Well, what are we doing? We're just running SQL commands on database. Whew. I mean, that's, I don't know, SQL support mine. Looks like it might be. So, I mean, I kind of wonder if this is the stuff that a database should do for you. What do you want to do? I want to get its path, check its existence, issue a command, which the database knows its own name. Yeah, so, where is this? SQL support. Should be up here. Probably database. Yes. Okay. Yeah, that does feel like you should be asking the database object to do this for you. All right, so I don't know where I'm going particularly. I just am tracking through the things that feel off and what's there and hoping we can modify it. But maybe I should focus on this metadata first. I think it's a good change. So let me say that move. Okay, so have a list of tables. You select the active ones. We're not quite doing that. Add table doesn't update the view. We may get rid of that because this interface is going to replace it. Make SQL support part of a database rather than standalone. Okay, and then I think what we're doing at the moment, well, I guess what I want to do is create an object that represents a table name and its fields, its columns, and be able to query this for that. Okay, now, I guess the tests that do that should be able to ask the same thing. So let's find those database tests. Do I still have them? Okay, I'm going to close some stuff. Keep this. Oh yeah, they're database tests. Okay, so what I would like to do, I guess I would like to get the table metadata, which includes its name and its fields, and make that work. Okay, so I'm going to work it in here. So this is looking at tables. Let's look for this new thing. Well, it's going to get an empty list of database.TableMetadata. Okay. And that should complain that I can't even do that for you. All right, let's put this in each of these. Error, we're saying empty tables, so this thing is empty as well. Test can find the actual tables, create a table at the end. Okay, so the tables, DB table, so this should be table metadata. Well, I want the name, so it's the table. And I want an array of columns. I'm just going to do the names for now. All right. And that's a real thing. Table at the end. Well, now this one. Okay, so here. Id and first name. All right, so I've kind of put 3 tests because I'm going to modify the SQL metadata, and then all the subclasses have to do it. So they all have to have a field table metadata. Okay, so function, well, let's make it a var, table metadata, and it's an array of table metadata. Okay, which doesn't exist. I'll make it a struct, table metadata, and it's going to have a name. Name of string, and it's going to have columns of array of string. Okay, and this must be a get. All right. And then what's your problem? Okay. Yeah, so our test is fine, but this doesn't exist yet. Okay. So let's put it in here. And for null database, it's empty, and for error database, it's empty. Now I might be able to get from tables working in terms of this, so that'd be good. Now I should have one more, right? Well, let's make this one empty as well, and that's going to be failing. So I think our tests will fail on the real database, and I've still got some syntax errors. Any cannot convert to equatable. Okay, yeah, so table metadata needs to conform to equatable. I don't think all this belongs up here, but it should be able to synthesize this because it's all stringy. Okay. To equatable, yes. Name, do I want that? Yeah, I think that's all right. Okay, now let's run tests. And the first two should pass the null and the error database, but this last one should not. And also, I think that should probably be alphabetical. Boom, okay. Test may rename. Why are you blowing up there? Oh, he's its own thing. He doesn't even... Yeah, he's not legit yet. Okay. Now, what are we doing with him? Well, we're not using it for now. Let's do that. Okay, I'm surprised this even ran with that syntax error there. Oh, okay. SortTables tests should have 2 failures. It also looks like it's running this UI runner test. Let's do this. Okay, valid SQL. Okay, so null error passed like they should. Valid SQL fails because it doesn't have any of this mechanism. And I want to change this test to go in alphabetical order. I don't know that it deeply matters, but I think it's going to fit what we want. And notice the order is backwards from the order it's created, so we want to make sure it really is sorting. It's a little implicit, but it's there. All right, now this, okay, data. Database view, no, SQL metadata. Ugh. Here we go. Okay. All right. So the problem is the true data does not fetch this structure. It just defaults to nothing. Okay. But we can get it from tables. All tables is array of string. Okay. And this is column name. Okay. So, well, let's take all tables. All right, that gives us the name for each table. Dot map to well, I'm going to break it up. Let column no. All right, we're going to map this to a table metadata. Name is $0 and the contents is columns. Well, it's columns for $0 and then map to 0 dot. I want SQL column to tell me the name. It knows them. It's not returning a column. It's returning a string. Is that going to do it? Well, or whoops, apparently not. Did that just run? Metadata name table id is not equal to nothing. No, I don't. Okay, those are not compile failures. They're just runtime errors that we hope to make go away. I just don't know if description is the name of the class or the column. Also, this should not be running. Okay. Well, it's in our test. They're not sorted. That should do it. Wow. Has a bar. Okay, sorting is bad. There's this thing about sorting in place. Swift UI sorted. Oh, it's really Swift. Sort is in place. Huh. Sorted returns the element sorted. Okay. So it does not change the caller, so I don't know what's going on there. Oh, this changed the order here. Okay. Let's do that out of here. So dot map. Columns 4 will map that and then sorted. All right, I took it out of here. All right. Putting it in there changes order for everybody, and they were relying on the ordering of the name or something. All right, let me clear these. Well. Okay, but I think what we've got though is a good thing. We've make SqlMetadata know the table and column names for each table. That is useful in what we're doing, so it's not totally random. Okay, now I do think there's something. I don't think that SQL metadata is quite the right name. I think this should probably be database and pull the SQL support in. But instead, SQL support part of database. Yeah, so what we did was we added added an entry to SQL metadata that knows table metadata. Metadata. All right, and we have done that. 22, right? Okay. Okay, and then what we're going to do with that is show active tables with their columns names. Now, I don't think we do anything with types or any of that yet. I could make a case. I could make a case that SQL columns should be the thing we want. I don't know. But I could see saying that the table metadata returns column metadata. But I'm not quite sure that's what role this thing has. Okay, but this is progress. I do want to kind of change the name of this. I'll make it database. Or maybe SQL database. Okay. Okay, let's run. Okay, so now we'll focus on this. I think we can make that work. All right, so this was rename SQL metadata to SQL database. Presumes that there are other possible kinds. Okay, now let's go show active tables with column names. All right, so that's in our view here. And I think this thing can be, well, we might have to make those identifiable, but we should be able to say, we should be able to have a list of data. I would like to have this. Well, table metadata. And then show stuff. Verbatim 0.name. Okay, but we can't, yeah, we need to be initializable, identifiable, equatable, and identifiable. Var ID equals UUID. Probably public. Well, does it have to be? Let's find out. How should they be equal? I don't think they care about their ID per se. That's a tough one. Well, okay, let's undo that. I think we know enough to list them. The ID is name. Okay, we know those will be unique because it's the table names. It's not going to be duplicated or anything. Okay, so I think we'll see our stuff twice now, once in a list and once not. What? Okay, yeah, identifiable. All right, let's run. Class person registration, class person registration. Okay, so this one's obsolete. Okay. Now, this, okay, what I'd really like to do is make a view that corresponds to one table's entry. One table view, do I already have that name? Body of some view, all right. And what I want it to take, well, let's just put here. I want it to take a table metadata. For table metadata of table metadata. All right. And then this should, well, let's just do table metadata dot name. And this, it doesn't need to be a binding. It's not editing it at the moment anyway. And it's going to take $0, which is a table metadata. All right, so this should run with one set of tables. Oops. Oh, this should be one table view with table metadata. If I can run instead of test. Okay, so class person registration, but now they're showing up from that. All right, so that's progress. What we've done is we show table information based on table metadata rather than tables. And then, I don't know if we want a list within a list. I think we can just list them. All right, so let's do that. We got that. And then let's do for each. And the data is table metadata.columns. ID self, so the names are fine. All right, and let's put Well, for each one of these lines, I want to put, well, let's make text of $0 is the name of a field, a column, and we want to space it in a little bit. Dot border. No. Padding. Okay, so we'll try for an indent. Okay, well, that's not enough indent, but that's kind of good. All right, let's make this 32. And I don't know, I think I could probably put, well, I'm going to put eyeballs there, so I don't know. Well, let's just see it. And this is reflecting that the table names are so much better. The table metadata is a much better match for what we're trying to do. All right. Yeah. That is good. I think I could make this bold. Yeah, this is the kind of stuff I should be using the preview, but it's just so darn slow. Okay, yeah. That is looking good. So if we could select those things, like here, we have this eyeball thing to turn it on or off. That's really what I want. Now, somehow I have to change what this data is. I don't know, it feels like a boilerplate kind of thing. But this really is controlling which fields are visible in the end result. So actually, I probably don't want to show ID, name inspector time slot. That's all good. Instructor foreign key, I probably don't want. So from class, we just want to pick up those three fields. That feels okay to me. Now, what I don't know is, does this... No. Okay, I was wondering if it would let me relocate these things. There's probably something I can turn on for that. It would make sense to sort them. Well, I'm sorry, it would make sense to be able to move the class up or down, put them in the order you want to show them. But I don't think that's critical. I think we may develop another mechanism for that. All right, but the thing we set out to do here on this step was this: show active table with contents, with column names. Whoops. It's not today, this is. Okay, so that's bearable to me. I mean, you could imagine 10 times as much, and it would still be kind of bearable. I think this thing would be have just as much trouble. The difference is you're recognizing things that are already there. Okay. Now the next thing I want to do is selecting, and this is where I'm not quite sure. So I don't know. Maybe it's time to punt a bit. But I can do the symbology of it or the button. Let's look for names. Yeah. So what we've got is this to show something. I mean, that's the kind of thing I want. Let's pull out another object. Database view. This is getting obnoxious, I will say. But this, whoops, let's put this in a struct. This is a selectable button. Is a view, I think. And this is var body of some view. That ends that, that ends that, whoops. Ends that. Okay. Struct sometimes only permitted in properties. That's view. Okay. And then you need to give it a name. Well, and a binding. I don't know. Let's give it a name first. Name, is that the right? Let's take this out for a moment. Self contains index. I don't know, I'm building in whatever it uses now, but what it has is an array of what are these? These are selection. Self.toggle, that's kind of interesting. Was that here? Okay. Well, it's something. Columns. Remove. Import foundation, import switch UI. foundation. Okay, what do we got now? Selection. Right event, is that what it is up here? Set event. Ooh, that's probably nicer. Okay, so I think that generalizes the one we have, but you're passing in a selection and an index, which is the index of the item that corresponds to it. We'll get there. And the text, I don't know, name is not really the best thing here. Maybe it's just text. Okay, and let's okay, so I'm going to create this column selection. All right, and then instead of just text here, what do we want? Let's see, enumerated. It's index and value. And X. Okay, yeah. I think I just put those two variables. Yeah, I think I put them inside. Okay, so index and column name, it basically takes that list and slaps a number on it. All right, I don't know if I need to identify it by. Surely I'm doing enumerated somewhere else in here. Maybe I never do it in the UI though. Statement, database view, that's this one. I don't do it in the UI. No, that's not the right thing. Let's see what they say about enumerated. Well, maybe I can find somebody who's doing this. Swift UI with enumerated. Collections. Zip. For each ID slash dot offset. I mean, we are going to be zero based in what we're doing. Right. So enumerated ID offset an element. So he puts it in an array, which I don't know, that just feels like too much work. Each item ID self index. Yeah, okay, we'll put it in the array. Offset, and then I think we can use offset and index, right? Go back to his examples. Where's the one with the X's telling us how horrible it is to do what we're doing here? Offset element, okay. Index and element. Should I use the word offset there? Array sub offset. Okay, let's see what that does. We're going to use it in a moment. Okay, so it's still got everything. All right, let's put in our button. We need the index too in the text. Okay, so, whoops. That we can do. Initializer is private. Selectable button initializer. Well, it seems to be a struct. Oh, maybe these. No, I'm feeling fuzzy brained here. Like, what's the matter? Self-used, return without storing. I didn't think I have to do this. Okay, because we're passing. Well, maybe he can't be private. Insert dollar. Okay, that's what I expected it to have because this is the changed thing. Okay. Now let's run this. Now I'm going to try to get that state back up to a level I can use it. But it's a start. So create database. Everybody's got. Okay, I've got it twice. That's okay. With this, that comes out. Okay, and so that should show them all. The font's a little off on this. Let's take this off and see how that looks. Well, these had that before we did dot padding dot leading 32. I guess I should be looking at the eye size. Okay, that's a little small. Well, all that is small, but it's more like that when it's real. I think that's okay-ish. And this is probably a small tablet size. Mine's definitely bigger. Okay, I think it's good enough to run with. The title here, config database section. Oops, it's this title. Database view tables. I think I want to change that. They all start false, which that's pretty darn subtle at that font, isn't it? All right, where's my assets? Nope, where's my... localizable. Database view tables is, I want to say tables and columns. All right, they'll both say that now, but that's okay. But I don't know, this whole thing. That font weight was too big before. Try medium, light. I think the font.title is what's doing it. Let's take weight off for a moment. Well, that's still a little big. I don't know. He's not terrible. Okay, let's put weight light. Let's see what this does. I don't know, this tweaky stuff. Tricky. Well, that does seem better. All right, now the only other thing is this selection. It should not be that. Well, should it? I guess it comes down to, do you want to show, do you want to start with nothing and add what you want, or do you want to start with everything and take out what you don't want? I don't think there's a good way to predict which way you'd go in a given case. Okay, I don't know. But it does toggle, but we don't save it anywhere. So that's problematic. I mean, what we want to do is capture that, this column selection. We need to select the table too. I don't know how we want to initialize that. If I wanted to go the other way and include everything by default. All right, but on the other side, I think what we have is worth checking in. Add a column level toggle to each displayed column. Okay, that it gets us something. I mean, it's clearly toggling. Where that state goes in the long run, I don't think I want to fool with it today. All right, I want to do some cleanup. Minor, but this is really should be its own thing. Database Finder. I guess I would call it database. Okay, take that out of here. I don't think we use this anymore. We started to, but didn't end up with it. Okay, database view. Well, this section, that one's going to go away when we get everything together. The database to add table. See, what we're not really working on the database. It's really more like a snapshot of the database or a view, because we're trying to build sort of a virtual. It's almost like a virtual table, really, of which fields do we want, to what joins, and all that stuff. You know, so we're kind of creating a view in the database sense, and then pulling that stuff in to our thing. And so the database is really, it's like the target view or the target, I don't know what to call it. Okay. But I think add table is going away because we have all the tables already. So that's what we're going to do is select or deselect tables, and then that will tell us which ones are in or out, and the database can kind of know that. So maybe it's the thing that owns that selection, and then when you somehow we have to get that created for each column, or each table needs its own column selection, and then there's a table selection. Okay, the other thing I wondered was, is there font? I don't know, for circled letters. Yeah, that's not quite what I want to do. Text inside a circle. Maybe I should put the word table? I don't know. Let's try it in here and see how we like it. All right, so in here, text for selectable button. Well, let's make this verbatim : yeah, well. Always have to look up how to do this. I don't think I'm doing any. Oh, there we go. Percent LLD. Percent and. I think I do percent %s, right, for just a string, or maybe not. Let's find an example of that. Format, and it's localized string. File name. Well, that's not really the way text does it. Okay, localized string key. Parameter that can forward response to string. Okay. Use a string literal when you want localization. Okay. Text today. Types whose initializers take this have an initializer that accepts a parameter conforming. Okay. So back to text. Localized string key. Table name. Bundle. Maybe I have to do this horrible NS localized thing. Oh. Where's that object coming from then? Yeah, it is in this lookalike string. Harder than I thought. Okay. All right. What else? Let's make sure things are good. Okay, we'll extract to that file. Commit that. Push. All right, and then I'm seeing that this pops in and out. I'm not sure. Enable user script sandboxing. Okay. All right, we'll just try this. Let's do a clean build. Don't have permission to view SwiftLint. That doesn't sound right. Now I don't have access to the project. All right, let's turn that stuff off. I don't know, I hate this kind of stuff. Update recommended settings, but the recommended settings don't work. I don't know that I need the ladder. All right, let's try turning this one off. No, all kinds of errors again. All right. We'll just let that go for now. All right, and so what we did was we added toggle for columns. Excuse me. All right, well, we have a start on this now. I think it's going to be better than what we have, more usable. hopefully we'll figure out where things go a little easier. All right. Well, I'll see you next week. Thanks for joining. Have a good weekend. Happy Thanksgiving. Bye-bye.